So, respected Director Ayurveda, Professor S.N. Singh ji, Dr. K.K. Dwivedi ji, Dr. Surendra Chaudhary ji, Professor Mahesh Vyas, and all the respected members of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad who have given me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful webinar. So, the topic which is given to me for today's presentation is Importance and Priorities Areas of Research in Ayurveda, Current Approach and Prospect. So, with the due permission of Dr. Surendra Chaudhary ji, I would like to start my presentation.
Please, Doctor.
So before coming to the actual presentation, I would like to have some points. What is the worst time of presentation? हम कोई भी गेस्ट लेक्चर देते हैं सेमिनार में कीनोट एड्रेस, उसका वर्स्ट टाइम क्या है? Immediately after the lunch. So in many places I got the opportunity to present my paper after the lunch, and it is the most difficult time to make the audience to concentrate on my presentation. So I'm very lucky that I skipped this time, that is after lunch. Just before the lunch, people will be very hungry around 12 o'clock. They want to rush for the lunch, and they will not hear you at all. So this is not the time. And last thing will come in mind, ye presentation kab khatam hoga. So in my presentation, I will try my level best. I will not make you bore in my presentation. I would like to present such things which you have not heard of, and you will really feel proud that Ayurveda is having intense capacity about the scientific research. And I'm very fortunate that my presentation is on the inaugural day, and I'm thankful to Dr. Surendra ji and the organizer for giving me this wonderful time where all the audience listeners will be actively listening to me. So this is where we are standing now. You can see the person standing in the darkness, and this darkness is nothing but the darkness of the COVID-19, which has crippled almost the whole globe, and we are not able to do our daily routines. We are away from our dear and near ones, and the source of learning is only one is remaining now is online, that is through these webinars. So Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, it's a ray of light in the darkness of COVID-19. So Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad is continuously contributing in excelling Ayurveda and research by conducting various webinars, workshops, and many activities. So it is a matter of proud of us and for me also to be part of this organization, that through these webinars, we are able to enrich the knowledge of our students. Now coming to the topic, for the upliftment of any science, researches are the backbone. So all of you are well aware about this. If a science has to propagate, if a science has to establish its root, then the thing is the researches should be going on. You know about the Chinese medicine, and very near is our researches on the yoga. The yoga is globally accepted, and tomorrow we are going to celebrate World Yoga Day, where 170 countries are participating. So this is possible because the scientific validation of the principles of yoga, the researches done by the various universities and the scholars in parallel with the modern scientific tools. So for development of any science, we must do the research. But the question is why we are lagging in research in Ayurveda. As Director Sir has just now mentioned, there is a big debate we are seeing now, that is Ayurveda versus modern science. So actually it should not be the versus, it should be the parallelly Ayurveda and the integrated system of medicine and the homeopathic and also the allopathic. We should go together and we should work in the interest of the society, interest of the mankind. So this is what we need now. So but the question is why we are lagging now. So maybe it is because of lack of funds, or it is the lack of interest in the Ayurveda researchers to do the new research works, or Ayurveda is a proven science, so no need of further research. So these three are the questions which I would like to mention, and to say that why we are lagging in research in Ayurveda. So the first point is lack of funds. So there is no lack of funds actually. The Union Budget 2021, this copy you will get in the internet also, where the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman Monday allocated 2,970.30 crores to the Ministry of Ayush. It's a big budget compared to the previous budgets. So almost 2,970. So such a huge budget is allotted to the Ministry of Ayush, and Ministry of Ayush is giving these funds to the different research organizations, different Ayurveda universities to carry out the various research works. And even the Ayush Ministry has taken a very big step in making the Ayurveda flourish on the global platform, and especially in the case of outbreak of COVID-19, where Ministry of Ayush had made one platform where the any individuals who is doing the research on Ayurveda drug in accordance with COVID-19 can submit their work on that particular platform. So plenty of funds. So there is no lack of funds, which is hindrance for doing our Ayurvedic research. So we are having the enough funds. So we cannot say that we don't have funds, so we cannot do the research in Ayurveda. And there are many universities, including the Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, and one more university which I know personally is the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, where they are giving funds for the research even to the UG scholars. The students who are studying in the first PMS, second PMS, they have taken the research works at very initial level. For example, one student from first year, he was working on the Gandusha. So the government is trying to inculcate the ideas of research in Ayurveda right from the UG first year. So we are having enough funds, and government is providing the funds. So there is no scarcity of the funds to do the research in Ayurveda. So Ayurvedic treatment is very effective. Now, why it is a necessity? Why we should do the research in Ayurveda? So the thing is, when we talk about our Ayurvedic principles, so all of us know, being an Ayurvedic graduate or postgraduate, we know that Ayurveda is very scientific science, and the principles and the various treatment protocols, whatever said in Ayurveda, is very scientific. But we can say that it is scientific, but to prove in front of the modern fraternity or into the globe, we must have some proof. That's why we say that we should have evidence-based medicine. If we want to flourish Ayurveda at the global platform, we should generate the data, we should generate the evidence-based medicine for the Ayurveda. So that's why the research is very, very important, which can make our science to shine on the global platform. So there are still more points. The young Ayurvedic scholars are, although enthusiasts, moreover, they are not very clear about how to express valuable research outputs on Ayurveda. So about the research, our PG scholars, especially the PG scholars, when they come to the PG first year, when they come to the PG, they will not be having the clear idea what research you want to do. So that's why even before that, now the CCIM Board of Governors, they have initiated one bridge course also. When we come from the scientific background, 11th and 12th standard of physics, chemistry, biology, and directly we are exposing to the Ayurveda in first year BMS. So there is a complete shift of mind from one science to the another. So that's why the bridge course is made, so that student can be familiar with the what they are going to study and what they have studied in the past, what is the relation between those things. And that is what is required. And now we are going to that right path where we can make the student to understand the scientific background of Ayurveda and how they can understand Ayurveda from the background of the modern science. So in the current status, there are around 4,500 PG seats in 413 institutes. So this data is from the government website, and this is in one answer to the question in the Lok Sabha, where our Minister Shri Yeshwar Naik ji has mentioned this. So that means we are having the input of almost 4,500 PG scholars. So if you see, this is a huge number. So one PG scholar, they have to take one research topic, which they have to carry out the research for the 3 years. So out of these 4,500 research scholars, I feel hardly there are 10 to 20% who are doing the actual research. And there are so many factors behind why we are not coming up with the good research works from the PG scholars. So those lacunas we should try to fulfill. So when we are going to the first year PG, I hope the many audiences, listeners are from the first year PG scholars. So when they enter into the PG, the first things come in their mind when the HOD call them and they ask them, select some topic for a synopsis. So which research topic they should take. So I have seen and I have observed in many of the colleges, when the PG scholars was asked by the HOD or the concerned guide that select the topic of your choice, they will give the choice to the scholars itself so that they can do the research in a more better way. But the PG scholar will find the shortcut. Immediately they will talk with the seniors and they will ask which is the easiest topic. They will their first the question will not be which topic we can do research so that we can flourish in Ayurveda. Their question will be how to choose a easy topic. There should not be any problem in conducting the research for the 3 years. If they getting topic, next thing will be there in the mind whether soft copy is available or not. If soft copy is available, easily they can copy and paste and make the data and submit the dissertation. So this is the thing which is running in almost so many colleges in India. So it's a bitter truth for us and we should accept it. I'm not telling each and every student will do like this, but majority of cases, this is the thing which is happening. We will try to find the easy topic. When your intention is to find the easy topic and to finish your thesis work just as a schedule, because to pass PG, you have to do it. So Ayurveda will never flourish. Ayurveda is in the hand of the young scholars who should contribute in the various research work and make Ayurveda to establish at the global platform. So you can see this picture, Behed Chal, all of your Hindi background. So when one person is doing one thing, everyone started following. So when I was doing my PG, I was seeing the same thing. Uh, if you're doing research in Kaya Chikitsa, some senior has done this particular research, these parameters, and same thing is going on. And when we are filling that case pro forma, we'll write Prakriti, Vikriti, Sar, Samarana, everything will come Madhyam, Madhyam, Madhyam. We'll fill the pro forma without assessing the actual factors. Everything will be Madhyama, and almost 99% of the thesis work, they will come as successful. Our work is successful. We have given good treatment and there is good effect in our result. So this is what is happening. We are not trying to find out what different we can do in our science. So what people are doing, our seniors are doing, passed out students have done. Same thing we are trying to follow their footmarks and we are doing this research works. That's why we are not getting that Vishesha. In Padartha Jnana, the Vishesha is one Padartha which is separates you from the group. Visheshastu Prathaktvakrit. We don't have that idea. We want to become Samanya. So that's why we are not getting the name in our Ayurveda system as is expected that what we should get. So for research development, if you want to have the good name, if you want to do the research work in a proper way, so there are so many factors which you should take care. What kind of information you should need, what kind of research you are doing, how far do you need to do research, how much information is required. So the research work when you want to do, when you come to the PG, you take your enough time. Your teachers are not in a hurry that today you have taken admission, tomorrow you have to submit the synopsis topic. They are giving you some 4 or 5 months to come to a conclusion which topic you are going to select. So collect the material of the topic, select your area of interest, then select all the things and try to collect the more information. These days, the internet facility is available. You can get enough information about the those particular topic which you are going to select. So spend your time to make the synopsis, to make its background, and then you can do a very good research. And I would like to quote one example. When I came to my PG first year, so my guide was Professor Anjanaya Murthy sir. He is very renowned person in the field of Ayurveda. So he asked me to, and my intention was also like what usually student will just think. I should finish my PG in a without any tension, without any problem, because to get the PG seat we have to work very hard, and when we get the seat we want to relax. So my intention was also like that. So my guide has asked me to make the synopsis title and asked me to write the need for the study. So I still remember some 20 times I have written the need for the study, and every time he has cut it the whole page and he asked me to rewrite, rewrite, rewrite. So almost 1 month I have spent to write the need of study for my topic. So that makes us more perfect. So try to give more time to your research work, what you are selecting. So priorities areas of the research in Ayurveda, these you are familiar about the clinical research, fundamental research, pharmacology, medicinal plant research, literary research, and documentation. So it is also depending upon the department which you are selecting. If you are Kaya Chikitsa or Sri Prasuti, all these departments you are going to do the clinical research. But it is not the fact, we being a PG scholar, we always feel if we are in a clinical branch, we have to do the clinical research only. So that is absolutely wrong. It is not the thing that you only have to do the clinical research. You can do some other innovative research also, which in future, if I get some other platform, I will mention in the department of Panchakarma, if you are there, what research work you can do. If you are in the Shalakya, what research work you can do apart from the clinical. Okay, we can develop the instruments, we can develop the treatment procedures. For example, Kriya Kalpas in Shalakya. So we are following the same thing what is running from the decades together. Now we are having plenty of the scientific instruments. So we can make use of those instruments and we can develop standard treatment protocol also for the particular disease. Okay. So clinical research doesn't mean that in the clinical branch, if you're doing PG, only you should do the clinical. There are so many other things which you can do in the fundamental research. So fundamental research, all of you are aware about our fundamental principles of Ayurveda. Maybe it is a Tridosha Siddhanta or it is a Rasayana or so many things. So clinical research, so you're all familiar, I have already explained, but we are lagging in developing the objective parameter. This is the main problem what I feel existing in the clinical research. When you're doing any clinical research, you should try to bring the objective parameter. And this is the what my teacher, my guru, Professor Mahesh Vyas sir, during my PhD, he has almost 2-3 months or maybe 6 months I have spent to find the objective parameter for my research or work on Rasayana. So if you don't have the objective parameter, it will not give the scientific validation to your research. Because in Ayurveda, the most of the things what is explained in our Shastras, there is no objective parameter in that. So it is our responsibility that we should find out some objectivity in the parameters what we are taking. If you are working on the Staulya, so instead of the Lakshanas what are explained, you should try to find out some objective parameters like BMI index you are taking or thickness of the skin fold. So such things are called as objective parameters. So objective parameters are those parameters which are giving weightage to your work. So this is what we expect now. Our scholars, those who are doing the clinical research, should try to inculcate objective parameter in their work. Clinical diagnostic tools you are aware of. Only the thing is we need to standardize these things. Shabda, Akriti. So regarding the Shabda, I would like to quote one example. When we say about Shabda, there are two types of Shabda mentioned. It can be Prakrit or the Vaikrita. So with the Shabda Pariksha, what you are going to measure? We don't have any particular protocol which you can tell that, yeah, this Shabda is Prakrita or this is the Vaikrita. We can just say when your throat is some problem in the throat, your voice become hoarse, that is hoarseness of voice. But apart from that, there are so many other ways by which Shabda Pariksha can be understood. I would like to give you an example. In the Vimanasthana, when the Charka says about Shabda Pariksha, okay, Sandhi Sfutanam is the example given for the Shabda Pariksha. So when you are saying Sandhi Sputana, so Acharyas who has written our holy text, Charak Samhita, Sushi Samhita, they were having the sixth sense, they were having the powers, they can understand the things. But at this level, we are unable to find out those things. That's why we have developed one instrument. Okay, so that instrument is just like a cuff that we are tying around a knee, how we are doing like BP apparatus, and we are putting some audiometry instruments for the quantification of the sound. Okay, we have keep some decibels. After this decibel, if the sound level crosses, that means there is some problem in the knee joint. So this is one example where we have done the work on the Shabda Pariksha. Okay. Likewise, netra, skin. So each one of these parameters, they should be scientifically validated. We should not do the same thing. Akriti is Samanya, Shabda is Samanya, Netra Varna. What we are doing since many years, decades together, we are doing same thing. We should try to follow something new. we should try to invent and in addition adding something to our existing treatment protocols or diagnostic tools. So one more example of fundamental research that I want to give. So I am not telling you like what are the areas of the fundamental research that all of you are knowing and you will get in all the books regarding about fundamental research topics. I would like to give you insight what work we are doing in different fields, in different areas, which you are unaware, I feel. Okay. So for example, Prakriti. Prakriti is the most fundamental principle of Ayurveda, which is having lots of scope. And I feel we have only explored 10% of the knowledge of the Prakriti through our research work. So still plenty of the work which can be done. So CSIR, okay. CSIR has one unit, IGIB, Institute of Genomic and Integrative Biology. It is situated in New Delhi. So they have done intensive, so much work on the Prakriti, and they have made methods of Prakriti assessment, approaches of Ayurgenomics, and so many anthropometric measurements of Prakriti assessment. So these all works are being done very scientifically by IGIB, which is a unit of CSIR. If you go to the CSIR website, you can find the details about what CSIR has done on the concept of Prakriti. So this is the one example how scientifically we are approaching to validate our Ayurvedic principle. And there are some other examples like fingerprinting technology, okay, handwriting. There's so many things which we can understand from the aspect of the Prakriti. So such things are the need of our to make our Ayurvedic principle, especially Prakriti Pariksha, as it's a milestone in field of Ayurveda. So Ayurveda has given this all, Trivid Jnanopaya, procedure of the study, code of conduct of disciple, necessity, importance of recitation. So we feel importance of recitation. I want to put some highlight on this. So when we are telling about the recitation, it doesn't mean only you are just sitting and reading the sloka and going. So there is proper methodology of the chanting of the mantras, chanting of the sloka. And one of the research scholar of All India Institute of Ayurveda is going to work on the mantra chikitsa. Okay. So the volunteers will be taken, those who are subjected to that particular disease, and one mantra will be given to them, and that mantra will be chanting in a particular order, particular flow. So that study will be done. So when we are the same way when we are reciting the shloka, so in Dinacharya Adhyaya Vagbhata has explained about the Brahmi Muhurta, you should get up. So that is the time when we should do the recitation of the shlokas. So all these things are well explained in Ayurveda. So Vimanasthana in Charak Samhita have explained the epidemiological studies. Recently, when we met with the COVID-19 outbreak, so Janapada Dhamsa Chikitsa was in very much limelight, which our acharyas have explained. Then different pramanas, which we are making use of now also in terms of research work. So one more example in Ayurvedic Samhita, we have studied this in Vimanasthana 8 chapter, Karana. So we can take research scholar as a Karana. Karana is the instrument what research scholar is going to use for his thesis. Karyoni is a research problem. Karya are the objectives of your research. Karyaphala is the conclusion of your work. Anubandha is publication. Desha, place of conduct of activity. Kala, time management. The Gantt chart, what you are putting in your synopsis. Pravriti is the execution, and Upaya, execution, planning, monitoring. So I would like to say that the Ayurvedic Samhitas are written very scientifically, and what is a research protocol explained by the scientific community, the Western community, it is already explained in Ayurveda. Only the thing is we need to understand, and we should make them also understand that our science is enriched with all these concepts. So this is our organization, FRLST, Foundation for Research of Local Health Tradition. You can see its website, and they are doing plenty of good works in the field of fundamental research or the drug research in the different fields. So they are scientifically updating the data. They are scientifically studying the concepts, core concepts of Ayurveda, and they are doing their own publications also. So I request our dear students to go through this website. You will get very good idea about Ayurveda research. So pharmacological research, new discovery, mechanism, mode of action, understanding the drug at molecular level. So our Jailan Shastri sir is the master of all this, and he is going to explain you each and everything in detail. But my topic is the broad topic. I just tell you the few points under this heading. So when we are talking about the drug, so what the modern research background people or the very good high impact journals who are publishing the work. So their question always, when you're sending about some drug, they will ask the mode of action of the drug, how your drug is acting, what is the mechanism of the action of the drug. So recently, one group of researchers from the biochemistry, health medicine, pharmacological department, they have worked on the Yashti Madhu, that is molethi, on and they tried to extract the molecule that is glycyrrhizin, and they found this particular glycyrrhizin having very good effect on the COVID-19. So when there is cytokinin storm, when the patient is severely crippled with the COVID-19, and when the storm of cytokinins come and it is highly deadly, this particular stage. So what it does, this glycyrrhizin is combining with the protein of the coronavirus, and the storm of cytokinin can be stopped. So what the modern medicines are doing, for example, there is so much scarcity of the modern medicine now, in the injections were not available. So same work can be done by this particular medicine, Yashti Madhu. So being Ayurvedic people, we know Yashti Madhu very well. We know its where and condition it works, but we never try to find out how this particular drug is working. So many scholars might have worked also. I'm not telling nobody has done, but these researchers, they are not the Ayurvedic person. They found out this drug and they extracted the molecule, and they found very good effect of this Yashti Madhu compound in that particular condition. So now they are going to do the clinical trial with that particular molecule which they have extracted. So this is one example where we are doing the drug research, or we can do. So such type of research works are required in the department of Dravya Guna, extraction of the molecules and finding its exact target organ or the system. So this is what is expected in the present day when you are publishing a paper in high impact journals. So these are the questions what they will ask. Now another topic which I want to touch under my presentation is animal model. So all of you know about different animal models, and being Ayurveda scholar, you are only familiar with the mice or the rat. So since many years we are working on mice and rat, and we are continue our work on that. We never thought apart from mice and rat, there can be some other animal models also, which will be a great boon in the Ayurveda research. So guinea pig is such an animal model which can be used when we are going to see the local anesthetics, antibiotic, histamine, antihistamine. Many of our Ayurveda drugs, maybe it is a Pushkar Mula or maybe it is Agastyaritaki, they are having very good bronchodilator properties. Okay, so such drugs can be tested on the guinea pig instead of only testing on the mice. Guinea pig is the most favorite or animal model for such works. Now, because of the ethical issues, there are problems to conduct the research. But when you have proper study design, when you can substantiate your research work can be fruitful to the mankind, definitely you will get permission to work on any of the animal model. So that's why you should have extensive work on your particular drug, so that you can substantiate why this animal model is required for a study. Rabbit is another model which we are not using in Ayurveda community much. So you can study about the medicines of glaucoma, eye and ear infections, skin conditions, diabetes. And it is a very important study in the cardiovascular disease, hypertension and atherosclerosis. Then pyrogen testing can be done. There are so many good works which can be done on the rabbit rather than using mice or the rat. Zebrafish is another animal model which I have not seen any of the Ayurvedic scholar who has used this. So this is a very good model which can which we can study on the congenital heart disease, kidney disease, especially on the cancer. Okay, so this such animal models, when we are using like the zebrafish, so there are no issues of the animal ethical committee. Very easily you will get the permission and all. So you should study this particular animal model, and you should try to find out your particular research. So I am just giving you the insight. Okay, when you put in the internet, you will get lots of information, and you can see the topic which you want to do can be done on the zebrafish or not. So I have gathered some information, because when you are doing PG in your institute, there may not be the facilities of doing the research on different animal models. So zebrafish research centers are located in many places in India, and almost each and every university or the institute will be having the provision of collaboration. If you want to do something, work on zebrafish, but there is no facility of zebrafish in your institute, you can collaborate in these institute, which I have shown you here. So you can collaborate, and you can go there and do the research work. There is such provision is there in all the universities. Okay, so this PPT will be there with the organization. So if you need any information, you can ask them, they will share with you. So such centers, there are many centers who are dealing with the zebrafish, and it can be used for the research work. This is another animal model, Drosophila melanogaster. So this is the animal model which has almost 3 to 4 paper published on this in Ayurveda research. Otherwise, it was not used in Ayurveda research work. So this Drosophila melanogaster is the animal model which you have studied in your 12th standard. And Mendel, the father of genetics, has done plenty of work on the Drosophila to prove the effects of genetics. I hope you remember now. So this Drosophila melanogaster, uh, why it came into existence now in our Ayurvedic research, in my research, because when I was trying to study the Rasayana, so we say that Dirghamayu Smriti Medha. So Rasayana is the drug which will increase the lifespan. So when we say about the increase of the lifespan, that time the modern people, the Western countries, they'll ask, if you give Chyawanprash and you will say them, after eating Chyawanprash, your lifespan will be 100 years. Then they will laugh at you. How you can say that I will live for 100 years? So the human being lifespan is more, and it is not possible to study the Rasayan effect on the human beings. That's why a animal model should be selected, which is having the lesser lifespan. So this animal model, Drosophila, is lifespan is around 25 to 30 days. After that time period, the Drosophila dies. So it's a perfect animal model for the study of Rasayana, or you can do some other researches also, not only Rasayana. So when Rasayana was given to Drosophila, so we can easily find out how many days the Drosophila can live. So under the able guidance of Professor Mahesh Vyas, this work was done in the Jamnagar, Gujarat University. And as I told you before, in your institute, when facility is not available, so there is provision in the government to collaborate. So that time, IPGTRA Jamnagar has collaborated with the Zoology Department, University of Mysore, because they are having the Department of Science and Technology funded Drosophila lab, where they have more than 3,500 species of Drosophila. So collaboration was done, and I was given the permission from the Jamnagar Gujarat University to work in Mysore for the period of the 3 to 6 months, and the research was carried out. So this is very easy to use, easy to culture, and a short lifespan of 25 to 30 days. So it's also called as fruit fly. When you keep some fruit in your kitchen or outside, you will see the small black color insects are around that fruit. So that is nothing but the Drosophila melanogaster. So this is the first time it was used in Ayurvedic research. So to take this animal model, Rasayana Chikitsa, to prove Rasayana Chikitsa, to prove that Dirghayu is the ultimate effect of Rasayana Chikitsa. And I have done 2 research work on Drosophila. In Guruchi, I have used, and also Amlaka Rasayana was also used, because we say that Amlaka Vaisthapnanam Shrestha. So this is the Guruchi plant. The churna of the Guruchi was taken, and Drosophila was administered with the Guruchi churna. So this is a short lifespan of Drosophila. The male and female fly, they copulate, and after 10 to 12 days, the new fly will come. So you can see in this test tube, the dot like structures, these are nothing but the larvae of the Drosophila. And what you are seeing, the compound microscope. In this particular microscope, we can separate the male and female Drosophila. You have to separate male and female Drosophila, and you have to keep it in the one test tube. One pair should be kept, and after 3-4 days, again it should be shifted to the new test tube. An older test tube, the new Drosophila will emerge. So this study was done, and we found the normal control group, the lifespan of Drosophila was 29 days, but after giving the Guruchi Churna in different concentration, lifespan increased to 85 days, 62 days, and 53 days. And in the concept of Vajikarana, Acharya Charaka says, Prabhuti Shakha Shakiva. If parents are taking the Rasayana, even their progenies also will be benefited. So same thing is proved. So the progeny of Drosophila was not subjected to the Guruchi Rasayana, but their increased lifespan was also found in F1 and F2 generation. So it has clearly proved the Ayurvedic concept of Rasayana, that when we are taking Rasayana, the lifespan is increased. So with this research work, easily you can say in front of Western people that our Ayurvedic drugs are not simply told Dirghamayu, they have the scientific approach, and this is what we can do in Ayurveda. So this result was published in Ayush Ministry and also covered in the Z News, the research of Drosophila using Guruchi Churna for increased lifespan. And I was telling, not only the Rasayana is the thing what you can study in Drosophila, there are some other things also. Like when I visited the Mysore University, one research scholar from Iran was working on the Kapikachu Churna in Alzheimer's disease. Okay. So he was seeing the neuroprotective activity of Kapikachu Churna. So since it's our drug, but we are not doing such thing, the people, not also Indian, from other countries are working, coming to India and working, taking our drugs and doing the work. Okay, so this work also was done in a short time. Neuroprotective activity of Guruchi Churna against paraquat-induced oxidative stress markers in Drosophila melanogaster. So we will get the different species of Drosophila. In some Drosophila, there will be Alzheimer's disease induced Drosophila. So you can subject those Drosophila to our Ayurvedic drug, and you can see and study the effect of the drug on the Drosophila. So this is what we have done regarding Drosophila in neurodegenerative disorders. Now, where these facilities are available, if you want to do work on the Drosophila, there is one Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology situated in Hyderabad. Then one more at NCBS, National Center for Biological Sciences, Bellary Road, Karnataka. So they are giving funds, they are giving the training that how you can work on Drosophila. And apart from that, there are other centers like in Gandhinagar, it is there. In ICMR also, I think it is there. In Ahmedabad, it is there. So you can write a letter to them if you want to work on Drosophila. And the working on anything, if you want to do some good research, it is not so easy that you will go and you will start your work. So first you should get the training, and to get the training, it will take some 6 months to 1 year time. And after that, you can start working on that particular animal model. Maybe it is a zebrafish or it is a Drosophila. And there is one more animal model called a C. elegans. So C. elegans also we not tested in Ayurveda, so that also can be used. So you have to undergo the training, and you have to can do the work. So I have given you the website also, fly@ncbs.res.in. So if you are interested to learn, you can send the mail to them, and they can call you for interview, and you can be selected to work on the Drosophila. They will give the free training. So these are the works which are done on the Drosophila in Ayurveda. So Dr. Subhashi Lakhotia of BHU, he has worked on Amlaki Rasayana on Drosophila melanogaster, and his paper was published in the High Impact Journal. Then this is the Rasayana effect of Guruchi Churna on the lifespan of Drosophila. This work I have done, and it is published in IU Journal. And another work, effect of Amblyca officinalis diet on the lifespan and sexual behavior and fitness character in Drosophila melanogaster. This research work also mine, which I done in Mysore University. So there are only 3-4 works which is done on Drosophila in India. So there are so many possibilities and prospect in different animal models. So being a PG scholar, you should try to find out something different, some other animal models, some other instruments which are not commonly used. So for that, we need to do hard work. We need to find out the different parameters, the different instrumentations that we can work and we can do wonders in Ayurveda. So now alternative approach, as you know that you may not get always permission to work on the animal models because of ethical issues. So Russell and Birch in 1959, they have proposed and developed 3R strategy, that is refinement, reduction, and replacement. Refine experimental method to decrease unnecessary pain and trauma to the animals. Reduction, reduce the number of animal used. Replacement, replace the animal experiments. So these all things you will get in your research books and you can read in detail. I just mentioned. So there are different methods of refinement, how you can do it, methods of reduction, like first you perform the pilot study, okay? Then gather data for more than one experiments. So likewise, there are many details which you will get. So they have mentioned how you can reduce the use of animal models. But if you are having the proper scientific validation, if you have done the enough homework on your research activity and you want to use this particular animal model, and if we can substantiate very easily, you can get the permission also. So future prospect. So if you want to make Ayurveda to flourish at the global level, we should have the multi-centric trials. We should have multidisciplinary trials. We should not always think only our department, if we are doing, we can do the research. We should not collaborate. So always collaboration is the best way to come to a very good scientific research. And this was proved with the multidisciplinary, multicentric trials. And even in my research work, Professor Mahesh Vyas sir, he has so much helped me to conduct my research work in Mysore and coordinated with the Gujarat University Jamnagar. So the research was very fruitful. So we should have the coordination with the different fraternities to come to a very good conclusion. You can use the modern instrumentation. You can collaborate with the modern doctors. So All India Institute of Ayurveda, it is having so many collaboration with so many centers, even AIMS Delhi, okay, All India Institute of Medical Sciences and All India Institute of Ayurveda, they are collaborating in so many research works. Because to come to a conclusion, we should have a multicentric trials and bringing the objectivity in our research. As I mentioned, it is the most important if you want to uplift the Ayurveda research works, use of latest technology and instrumentation in our research work. Okay, so we are not bringing using much instruments as I have seen. So try to find out the instruments for doing your research works. Update our knowledge by reading scientific journals, and you can become member of so many journals. Even the college is providing free access to many journals. So try to update your knowledge and publication in high impact journal. So this is the most important point. When you're doing the research work, you should able to publish your research work in the high impact journal, and that is possible only when your work is very scientific. You have to follow the scientific method of collection of data, method of presentation of data. So in the future presentation, in the coming presentations of VAP, the experts will put light on this also, how you can publish your work in the high impact journals. So with this, I will rest my presentation. So if you have any doubt, I hope you have put in the chat box. So you can ask me questions and queries, anything if you have. So I thank Vishwayat Parishad for giving me this opportunity for the presentation. And I wanted my presentation to be precise. It should not bore you. It should create the interest. And I hope I have succeeded in that. So thank you one and all for pleasant hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj, for this wonderful presentation. And as you aptly say that you are very really precise and as per the time schedule. And it's another one of the important characteristic of a presenter, just to stick to the time slot. So on behalf of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad and organizing committee of this e-workshop, I really thank you for this wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Dilip Upadhyay just to conduct the question session, although you clear all the uh, doubts and queries during your presentation itself, but still there are some queries. So Dr. Dilip Upadhyay, please carry on for the session.
जी सर.
Participants are requested to put their queries in chat box so that we can take it, and Dr. Pathak will try to address those queries. Thank you.
जी sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chaudhary sir. And thank you, Pathak sir, for, first of all, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable and student-oriented presentation. I hope all the participants, including me, are enlightened by your talk. Now we'll take some questions from the participants. The first question I'm taking is from Dr. Karishma. She asked, kindly explain objective parameters once again, sir.
See, when we are talking about objective parameters, so objective parameter means you should have some numbers, some digits by which you can tell that your results have come like this. For example, I'll give you example. When we say about the obesity, when you're doing the research on obesity, so usually what are the lakshanas have been mentioned in Ayurveda. So in your research protocol, you will write that these lakshanas have reduced, these lakshanas have reduced. But to create the objective parameters, for example, you should include BMI index, okay, skin fold thickness. So by the numbers, you can clearly tell the skin fold thickness was this much mm. After treatment, it has become this. This is one example. Second example, what I've done in my research, like Rasayana. Dirghamayu is achieved by taking the Rasayana. But how I will prove? If I say that our Samhita says, Samadhatu Samagnisha Samadhatu Malakriya. So when I have assessed some 100 volunteers, so in all 100 volunteers, the Malakriya was proper, Agni was proper, okay, Saptadhatu was made properly. So I will just write these things are proper, but that will not give the validity to my work. So, but if I say that these many number of days increased in the lifespan, so that is the objective parameter which clearly indicates about my work. This is called as objectivity. So in any of the research work, try to increase the objectivity in your work. That is called as objective parameters. So parameters are two, subjective and objective. But most of the Ayurvedic research, we are doing only subjective parameters. We are writing everything Samanya, Samanya, everything Madhyama. Instead of that, you mention this is the rate or this is the thing which has come. I hope I have clarified you, Karishma.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I hope Dr. Karishma has got her answer. Now the second question is from Dr. Rajkumar. His question is, up to what extent we can apply our experimental studies in public health?
See, experimental study is the just a footstep to coming to the public health. Before going to the public health, first we should do the preliminary works. When you are doing the work in the lab, in vitro, in vivo study, when you are doing, and when we are doing the established experimental study, so that means you are collecting the data, and it is a step to go to the public health. For example, I worked on Rasayana. So this is my experimental work. And now I'll go to the public health and I can say that, yes, you people can take this Rasayana. It is going to increase your lifespan. It is going to make the Prashasta Dhatu. So these are the stepping stones to go to the public health.
Thank you, sir. I hope Dr. Rajkumar has got his answer. Now the third question is from Dr. GG. He has written his name like this. What are the prospects of other forms of research in the pandemic scenario other than experimental researches? So please suggest some topics for Kaya Chikitsa. He has also mentioned that.
Okay. See, when we are talking about the pandemic, so that's what was the problem, because many of the thousands of the Ayurvedic experts, and they have done very good work on the COVID-19 and their drugs also. Many people, even I know in Karnataka, who was treating the COVID-19 patient, and successfully they were treating the patient. But none of the work has come into the limelight because the scientific validation was not done. They have not published the paper. So that's why the publication and these things are required to do work in the COVID-19 or any kind of pandemic. And like topics, what you can do in Kaya Chikitsa, it is a huge topic. If I tell about Kaya Chikitsa, Shalakya people will ask now what we will do. So it's a long process to discuss the topics of the research work in Kaya Chikitsa and other. But Kaya Chikitsa is a very broad like branch, and so many I cannot pinpoint tell you now this topic you take for your work. You have to read the concepts and you should apply it.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Mrityunjay Dwivedi from BHU. He has asked that in Ayurveda, how its applicability can be made feasible in case of Ayurveda, where there is no standard format of understanding any topic or samhita or a shloka in different geographical areas within India. There is difference of opinion in different school of thoughts within a state, even within an institution. And how will we make the research in Ayurveda feasible in today's time?
See, this is what the need of our, this is what the responsibility of a scholar, the responsibility of a PG student or the researcher to understand the Ayurveda and should apply in their own way. Like even in, you will see in the politics, each political party will tell their own views. But it is our understanding, we should understand what things are useful for us. Like you mentioned about the Samhitas, there are different methodology of studying the Samhitas. Okay. Hello.
Ji, sir. Yes, sir.
There are different methodologies to understand Samhita. So it is up to you that in which way it is helpful for you. For example, getting up in the Brahmi Muhurta is told in our science, you should recite the sloka in Brahmi Muhurta. But it is not possible for you when you are doing the late night study. You cannot get up at 4:45 or 5 o'clock to study. And you will adjust your time that you will study sloka at 6 or 7 o'clock. So it is up to your understanding that how you will grasp, how you will make yourself adjust to the present situation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We can interpret it in our own way. Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Ishwar Dutt Sharma. He asked how we can publish our research work in journals. A basic question, but an important question, I think.
See, as I mentioned you, in the present speakers of this particular research workshop, they will speak specifically on this. But I would like to tell you still some points. When you are doing some research work and you want to publish your work, so don't wait after the completion of your dissertation, you will publish. Don't do that mistake. Do the publication in different steps. Okay. So first you should make the publication of the review of literature, what you are doing. Okay. When you complete your clinical study or the experimental study, then you can do the presentation of that particular data. So keep you from your dissertation itself, you can publish 3-4 research papers. Okay. So first will be the review article, and always you should you can take help of your guide, your teachers. They will help you in this aspect. So nobody is perfect in making the papers. So when you are keep on doing this work, definitely you can understand. And there are so many research guidelines which are available in the internet. You can read those things. So try to make the review article first, then go to the next step, and you can make some 3-4 papers from your whole dissertation.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Professor Dr. Ghodke Anita Suresh Rao. He asked that please text about Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad center address. Sir, we can, I think we can provide the address in the slide
Yes.
later.
Yes. Later you can provide, sir.
Yes. The next question is from Dr. Chinmay. Sir, under fundamental research, if you take the contradictory subjects like OJAS, can we do research in these topics? If we take these, objective parameters should be from Ayurveda.
Yes, see, when you are talking about OJAS or first thing is when you say about OJAS, there are two things, per OJAS or upper OJAS, which you are taking. And if you are taking the per OJAS, which parameter you are going to correlate OJAS, okay? Or you can find something in heart which can be correlated. You can correlate with the OJAS, okay? But to make it objective parameters, to understand it, you have to take the help of some biomarkers by which you can tell, yeah, this thing can be the OJAS. But the research works which have been done on the OJAS till now, I have not seen any objective parameter which is taken by any of the scholar on the particular topic of OJAS. Okay. First, the main difficulty is only that is the per OJAS or upper OJAS what you are taking and how you are able to differentiate. So you have to do a lot of work to tell about that particular entity OJAS.
Yes, thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Bharat Rathi. He wants to ask about the availability of audiometric Shabda Parikshan equipment you have told about, and also the mechanism of action of that instrument.
See, that instrument as it is not available. So it was I thought to make it. So for example, in microphone, in our earphone, you will use some instrument. Okay, so that was taken, and from my friends from the engineering college, I have contacted them and they made some circuit, because being a Ayurveda doctors, we don't know about the making the circuit or all that. So there was some 6-7 instrument were collected, the circuit was made, and then it was changed into the decibel, and that display meter was also means there are different 6-7 components to make one particular instrument. You will not get it is ready made. You have to
Okay,
work on that, and you have to find out, you have to make the circuit, then only it can be done.
Ji, sir. Thank you. Now the next question is Dr. Sravanti Munigela. She asked, sir, can we take parameters by your own scale and score?
Yes, see, when you're talking about the scale and parameters, there is one point in your PG studies, your proforma, your scale should be validated. If it is not validated, you cannot make your own scale and start working. You can do that only when you are making your scale, get it updated by your guide. Then you can send to some experts with the help of your guide in the different institutes, and they will send you the correction, and then it will be called as updated scale, and then it can be used. But directly making something you cannot use. It will be a problem to your study. It should be validated by the experts.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Vaid Jaivir. He asked, extract of any drug or drug as whole have different results. Is
Yes.
there any difference in the results, sir? And
Yes.
sir, a little question, a similar question I also had in my mind. Sir, you talked about Yashti Madhu and the glycyrrhizin experiment and the paper published in COVID-19 regarding the cytokine storm. Sir, if we go by the Shastra, the Yashti Madhu is purely Kapha Vardhaka. It is Guru, Snigdha and Shita in nature. So we cannot give Yashti Madhu in Vata Kapha condition, which is like in COVID-19, mostly Vata Kapha is vitiated. But in research, it is shown that glycyrrhizin is very effective in checking the cytokine storm. So there are two contradictory results. How can we explain that? Should we go with the research or should we go by the Shastra?
Yes, it's a very good question, because I'll give you one more example. There is one drug called as Sadapushpa. Okay, it is works on the cancer. So when we use Sadapushpa as a whole plant, it is showing a very good result in the cancer patient. But when you extract the molecule from that plant, it is not showing any kind of effect. So this study was done already. Okay, so in Ayurveda, this thing always it comes when you are taking the whole plant, the result will be different. When you're extracting the molecule and giving, the result will be different. Okay, but but it is not happening in all the cases. Okay, for example, this paper which I shared with you, they have extracted the molecule
Yes, sir.
and they have given. So what it is doing, it is binding with the spike protein of that uh, COVID virus. Okay, so as you told, the Vat Kapha property is there. So maybe because of that property, it is able to stick to that spike protein. And that's why blocking its further mechanism and blocking the cytokinin storm. That can be the probable answer, how it is working. But this is always a question of debate, that when we are taking and telling in Ayurveda, using whole plant, work will be different, and extracting molecule, definitely work will be different. So I would like to tell one more point. Now I'm working on one plant, Kalamega. Okay. So now with Kalamega, so this research I'm doing in the collaboration with the Institute of Medical Sciences and some researchers from the US. So they have worked, they are experts in extraction of molecule. So from the Kalamega, they are going to extract its molecule. Okay. Kalamega, we are giving in the liver disorders since plenty of years,
Yes.
but they are going to extract andrographine and they want to put it in the cell line and see its effect on the liver disorders. So I don't know whether we'll get the good result or not, but we are giving a try. If it works, then it will be a very good kind of research that this particular molecule is working on the Ayurvedic, on the patient of liver disorders.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now the next question is from Dr. Sania. She asks, sir, kindly tell which type of mindset should we have while selecting the research topic? I think you have already spoke about that, but
Yes.
kindly repeat.
Can you repeat the question once more?
Sir, she asked, what type of mindset should we have while selecting the research topic?
What type of mice?
Mindset
Mindset.
should we have? Yes. What should we be thinking when we are selecting a research topic for our
Okay.
PG?
See, when
This
if you are belonging, it depends on which department you belong. If you belong to, for example, Samhita Siddhanta, as it is my department itself, so the spectrum of research is very broad, and actually it is the responsibility of the teachers of that department. Because being a teacher, I will tell my students, get me the synopsis topic, and as you are recently coming to the PG, your mindset will not be of that level. So the teacher should continue, should take the classes or the workshops and arrange some guest lectures, or they should only teach and guide you the different areas of research in that particular branch. Okay. So if at all your teachers are not telling, you should read the science, you should read your particular books or the subject, and then you can find some new topics. Okay. And again, it is depends upon your mind. If you are trying to do something new in Ayurveda, then definitely you have to work hard, and definitely your mindset also will go in that way. So avoiding shortcut will make your mind to go into the right direction. And most important thing, don't discuss with the seniors. First thing, don't
Yes,
discuss
thank
with
you.
the seniors. Use your mind only for 1 week, 10 days. If you're getting difficulty in your selection, you can definitely take help. But if you go directly to seniors, what they will tell, your mind start going in that particular direction. You will not think something new.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Anshu Kumar Singh wants to repeat the correlation of research with Dashwit Pariksha Bhav. I want to tell Dr. Anshu that you can get that with the slide after contacting the committee after the presentation. The next question, Dr. Bharat Rathi, again the same question. I think sir has explained this dilemma that extract or the crude drug. Sir, I've already spoken about that. So we'll next topic. Next question is from Dr. Neha. Again the same topic. Sir, please suggest some topics in Shalya Tantra. I think uh, everyone is asking for their subjects, Rog Nidana
Sir,
and Shalya Tantra.
this topic, I want to tell one example I want to give. So
Yes, sir.
when I was doing my PG, everybody used to ask when we are selecting topic. So this problem especially comes in the Samhita department. If you want to do some drug research, Dravigoda people will tell it is a Dravigoda topic, how you can do. If you want to do some research on Kushta or some skin disease, the Rognidana Kachikisa people will tell it is not your topic, it is our topic. So I decided I will do the research in all Ashtangas of Ayurveda. So during that time, I wanted to do something in Shalya. So in Shalya Chikitsa, Shara is very important. And Charka says, Shara Pumsatto Bhatinam Shrestha. Okay. So this particular Apamarga Shara I prepared, and I have given this Shara to the Drosophila itself. And I observed the egg laying capacity was highly reduced. When the Shara was given to Drosophila, the egg laying capacity of Drosophila was drastically reduced. So this is the work actually Shalya Tantra, but it was done. This was a small example.
I hope Dr. Neha has got some good topics. Now the next question is from Dr. Ishwar Datta. Sir, like if you can tell some topic about Rog Nidana, like you explained in Shalya Tantra.
See, in
any
this,
topic.
yes, this example I also want to give. So when I went for my PG, as I told, my intention was because after studying for 18 hours, we will get PG seat. In government college, getting free seat was very tough. So after getting PG seat, we'll think we should get the topic which can be easily finished and without any problem, we should complete. So I told my teacher directly. I think Dr. Anand Katti sir may be listening to me and Dr. Vasudev Chate. I discussed with them and I told, sir, please tell me the topic which is very easy to finish and I should not feel any kind of problem in finishing my PG. Then Dr. Katti and Dr. Vasudev Chate suggested me you work on Kitib Kusta and you just see the Nidanas. Because what Nidanas are mentioned in our Samhitas, whether those Nidanas still exist in the causation of Kusta. So this was my research work in PG, concept of Kitib Kusta and its assessment of its Nidana. So thinking very easy topic, I selected this. though it belonged to Rog Nidana, again, big debate was there, but ultimately I got this topic. But when we want to do something easy, then that becomes a very big headache for us. So I made the proforma, and I thought work is very easy. I will just make the proforma, listing the Nidana, and I will tick, and my thesis will be done. But the last two lines of the Nidana of Kusta was a big headache for me when Charaka says, Papa Karmacha Kurvatam. Doing Papa Karma is the Nidana of Kusta. Now, how you will elicit these Nidana of Kusta from the patient? No patient will tell that I killed one person, I stolen this thing. Nobody will tell. So for that, we found a remedy with the help of Professor Anjay Murthy sir. We made one horoscope of the patient by taking their place of birth, date of birth, and we found the relation of the Graha Gatis and Kusta. And in that way, the Papa Karma was substantiated. So this is the example which further work can be done on the Graha Gati of the different disease.
Thank you, sir. Hope Dr. Ishwar Datta got the answer. And now the next question is from Dr. Nisha Gupta. She asks, sir, how can we do research at molecular level, as discovering any particular molecule working on a disease from well-known dravya, like you said about glycyrrhizin in particular study?
See,
how can we do research at molecular level?
Yes, when you want to do research on that molecular level, first thing is we are not expert of molecular biology. We should have collaboration with the experts of molecular biology, then definitely you can work. So we are not the people who can extract the molecules, but we can collaborate with the people who are expert in extracting the molecules. So if you are working on some drug and you think that this particular molecule can have effect on this particular thing, then with the help of your guide, with the help of your institute, you can collaborate with, there are so many institutes who will always support. What I observed during my teaching or the research work, always, whether it is a allopathic college or the institute or any organization, everybody will support the research work. So you can easily collaborate with the molecular biology specialist and you can do the work.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. The next question is from Dr. Ankita Sharma. She asked, I'm from Samhita Siddhant department. So can I study on Rasayan Prayoga for Swasthya Rakshanam in post-COVID times?
Yes, definitely you can do this work. And as far as my knowledge goes, one student from All India Institute of Ayurveda under the guidance of Professor Mahesh Vyas sir is doing the topic something like this. So when you're working on Rasayana or anything, it does not like need anything that you belong to Samhita department, you cannot do this work, or you belong to Kai Chikitsa, you cannot do Samhita work. Only thing is what you are doing, you should be able to substantiate. Your work should do the benefit to the department, it should do the benefit to the science, and it should do the benefit to the patient. So if you're belonging to any branch, there is no hindrance that you cannot do work on this or that. You can do any of the such work. And when you're dealing with the post-COVID patient, definitely Rasayana is having a very good effect. We have seen in so many patients clinically, but again, we have to generate the data. So if you can do that, definitely it will be a very good work.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Shivani Sharma. So wanted to know that can we modify any Shastriya yoga using our wit, as can we give bhavana of a different Aushadhi Swaras to a bhasma which may not be mentioned in any classic and bring out some new findings?
Yes. See, when you are doing such things, when you are changing the classical yoga, Shastriya yoga, so always there will be problem in the ethical committee. They will not allow you to administer it. For example, Shunti is told as Bhavana Dravya, but you want to change some other Bhavana Dravya apart from Shunti. So that time you have to go through the proper drug protocol. You should give that particular drug to the animal model first. You should do at cellular level, then give to the animal model. At last, you can give to the human beings. Directly, you are not permitted to give your own yoga to the patient. It should go through the proper drug discovery protocol.
Sir, may I interrupt you? Can I say something about on this particular question, if you allow me?
Yes, sir, please, sir.
It's very clear as per the, as you told very clearly about the ethical committees, but as per the definition of classical medicine, we cannot change anything other than the written in our classified books. So if we want to change anything, even the Bhavana Dravya, that classical drug may not come under the category of classical drug.
Yes, sir, very right.
Yes, there is one provision which I can say that thank you to the drug controlling cell of Ayush Ministry that they may make some amendment in under the rule 158B, where you can change the dosage form of any classical medicine. If something is in bhasma form, then we can make it in capsule or in tablet form. For that, we have to give the study of for efficacy and proof of safety. So if anything is being added or deleted from any classical formulation as described in classified books, that may not remain as classical medicine.
It will
Thank
be
you for giving me the opportunity, and I think it was anadhikrit chesta.
No, thank you, sir,
Thank
for
you so
putting
much.
light.
Thank you so much. Now the next question is from Dr. P.S. Upadhyay. So how we decide the dose of an extract? How can we decide the dose if you are using an extract?
See, when you're using the extract, this dose, it will be calculated by those experts. So as I said, we are not the expert in that. We cannot fix the dose. Even when I worked on the Drosophila, the dose fixation, the lethal dose finding, and it was a big procedure. So those experts will do that work and they will find the right dose for us. So we are not in a position to make the dose of that extract. So I cannot tell about that.
extract can be mentioned as ghan also, and many other soluble solvent extract.
Yes, yes.
If it is mentioned as ghan, then it can be mentioned as per classical dose. बट if अगर हम ये कोई नया एक्सट्रैक्ट जो कि सॉल्युबल जो हर्बल कंपोनेंट से लेते हैं तो उसको हमें थ्रू फार्माकोलॉजिकल स्टडी करके ही निकालना पड़ेगा जो डोज डिसाइडेशन का तरीका है.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
sir.
right, sir. And I was telling about that animal experimentation. When you are making some dose, when you're taking the extract and you're giving to models, so that work will be done by those people only. We cannot do. And as sir has told now, like when you're giving in different forms, Ghanavati or that, we can follow our classical rules.
जैसा कि इससे पिछला वाला भी क्वेश्चन था भावना द्रव्य चेंज करने का, वो मेरे डिपार्टमेंट से रिलेटेड है, थोड़ा मैं भी बताना चाहूँगा.
जी सर,
everyone can change as per their idea, but there must be some conclusive things. जैसे कि उसके पीछे कुछ ना कुछ कारण हो और उसके ड्रग टू ड्रग इंटरेक्शन या ड्रग टू फूड इंटरेक्शन की स्टडीज भी जरूरी होती है. तो जैसा सर ने कहा कि वो ड्रग प्रोटोकॉल फिर फॉलो करना पड़ेगा अगर हमने कुछ भी चेंज किया, क्योंकि ये जो क्लासिकल मेडिसिन हैं ये टाइम टेस्टेड मेडिसिन है, तो ये तो अलाउड है, लेकिन चेंजेस ड्रग प्रोटोकॉल यूज करना.
Then we have to follow the modern medicine drug protocol in the research in that case.
No, Ayurvedic protocols are also mentioned there.
Oh, yes.
So they have mentioned detailed Ayurveda drug protocol.
Yes.
It is there in the Government of India website. You can get all this clause and rules and regulation for making of the Ayurvedic drugs, for giving in different forms. Everything is there.
Yes, sir. So, sir, thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Deepa. Sir, any ideas? Tell me any ideas on concept of Agni. Is there any research we can do on this topic, or in any? You can ask. You can tell any of your experiences about the concept of Agni.
Yes, in the concept of Agni, I tried a lot in my initial days. So recently I found one instrument. So as the work is going on, I cannot like tell you about that particular instrument and the procedure, but in future it will come soon. So like we are seeing the enzymatic activity. Usually we compare the Agni with the different enzymes or other things, because what metabolism done in the body by different enzymes and the chemicals, HCl and all. So same way we are correlating Agni. But there are few instruments which are mentioned for different things. It is nothing related with Agni. But we can develop some protocol by which we can indirectly infer the status of Agni. So I will take pardon that I'm not able to tell the name of that particular procedure. But in future, you will listen about that particular thing very soon, that we can able to find the status of Agni also.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think the next question is from Dr. Bhaskar Paul. He asked, is there any protocol of funding for thesis work? If yes, then what it is? Is there any protocol for funding?
See, if you're doing PG in the government institutes, so they are giving funds for their work. For example, in All India Institute, I think they're giving some 40,000 rupees money for that particular research work. Even in Jamnagar, almost all the government institutes are giving the money to the scholars to do the research work. If at all you are having still short of money, you are getting plenty of stipend. So that stipend you can spend from that stipend for the development of science. And if you're not getting from the institute, there are the universities who are also funding for works. So as I mentioned, RGHS is funding. So almost all the universities will be having the provision of giving funds to the research work. So you can see the different university which comes under your institute, and definitely you can get the funds also. And if you are belonging to a private college, then definitely universities are a very good option. Even the CCRS is also giving so many funds. So many organizations are there you can approach for the funds.
Yes, sir. I think the next question, thank you, sir. The next question is regarding the private college. I think Dr. Shiva asking, I am a Shalya Tantra PG. We are posted in a hospital for residential post-surgical house man. We are expected to do all routine clinical running OPDs, IPDs, and all these things, and paying a heavy fee for the 3-year PG course. So how can we do such elaborated research work, visiting higher research centers, arranging funds for all these research works after this financial burden and all these duties around the clock?
See, if you want to, if you're having in depth, if you think and your idea is I have to do the research work at any cost, then definitely you can do. So when I did first time research work on Drosophila, I was doing my PG. My stipend was 11,000 rupees that time. So, and expense for that study was around 1,10,000. By purchasing the test tube was very costly. So from university, they have not charged anything, but the instrument, test tube and all and other materials we need to buy. So I've spent money. So that money I spent from my own pocket, because my idea was I should learn this wonderful animal model and how to work, and I should finish my work at a stipulated time. So I've spent my own money, but that money everything came like my research work was appreciated by Ministry of Ayush also, and that was possible because my intention was to do something in Ayurveda. Though I spent my money, but I got the reward of that money in my later studies. So if you feel really financial burden, as I told you, you can definitely get the fund. As I mentioned, the ministry is having so many funds, the university is having so many funds, but only thing is you should able to substantiate that your research work is going to do the benefit to the society. So definitely you will get the funds and other things. So for doing the research, there is no hindrance. Only thing you should have that gut feeling that I want to do something in Ayurveda.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we are nearing the time limit and we'll take some more questions, 2 or 3 questions. This is from Dr. Nitin. He asked, treatments from other pathies promptly used as like radiation therapy or lithotherapy, etc. How can we include in Ayurveda when there is not specific literature or difficulty in finding likewise?
This is the question which does not belong to me, and I'm not a person to answer. So the policy makers can answer this particular question, that what are the provision can be done to get the recognition. Same thing was raised in one presentation regarding the anesthesia in Ayurveda. How you are doing the anesthesia, there is nothing in Ayurveda. But that is up to the policy makers. We are nothing to do with that. We are just following what CCM, Government of India has made the guidelines.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Anita. I think this is an important question.
Hello.
Sir, can we do research on local medicine which villagers are doing traditionally, where they don't have any theoretical knowledge?
Yes, that's why I mentioned in my one of the slide I mentioned about FRLST. Okay, FRLST is the organization in Bangalore. Their main work is they are just going to the villages. Their teams are going to the villages. They are collecting the data from the villagers, like which medicine, which folklore medicine they are using for which disease, and scientifically they are doing the trials. So you can do that, but same thing as Dr. Mandeep also has mentioned, you cannot directly give to the patient in that case. You cannot tell that in this particular village, this medicine was used for liver disorder. So for my dissertation, I can use. You cannot use.
Okay, thank you, sir. There are, I think, two more questions are there. Dr. Deepika asked, sir, I am willing to work on effect of Siravedhan on Gradasi. How should I plan my study? I think this is a
Yes, how to work that your Silla people will tell better than me.
yes, yes,
But
yes.
one thing I would like to tell. So when we were studying, so Sira Veda, it is told you should use Kutharika Shastra.
Yes.
Right? If in front of patient, if you hold the Kutharika Shastra, patient will run there itself. He will not stay. So what we are letting the blood from the syringe, that is also one kind of Sira Veda itself.
Mm.
But you can do some research work on that, and your Shalya teachers can put more light on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And the next question is from Dr. Vaishali. For research, injectable form of any drug can be used or not?
No, I have not seen, I have not tested, so I cannot say about this particular question.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. I think we have taken all the questions till now. And thank you. And I think everyone, including me, are benefited with your talk and presentation. Thank you so
So
much, sir.
one thing I
Yes,
would like to tell,
yes, sir.
I have done many presentations, but I feel that this is one of the most successful presentation of my career till now, because none of the presentation, these many questions were asked to me. So almost we have discussed question more than half an hour, and it was the highest number of question I received after my presentation. So I'm very much glad and very much happy that audience have understood my presentation. Usually what happens when I present, the questions they will not ask, I will only ask question and I will only give answers. But the audience were very good, very intelligent. They understood my presentation, and that's why they have asked plenty of questions. So thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.